on, it's
action
weird. Okay,
for Assange.
I'm gonna stop counter again. It took forever to go live, so I'm hitting the thing again.
All right. All right. Hello again. We're going to try this again. We're doing it live. Welcome to Action for Assange. I'm your host, Misty Winston. Sleepy Josh is here on the ones and twos, so he'll be jumping in here and there. We are joined by the crew from Denver, which you guys have all heard me talk about a gazillion times. Kendra's been on the show numerous times. We've organized with her so frequently. So you guys are all pretty familiar with the work that they do. Just a couple quick things before we jump into introductions. I just want to remind everybody about the David McBride situation. I'm still working on getting some more information. We're going to do some pressure campaigns on Anthony Albanese and Mark Dreyfus. I'm working with Somerset Bean. I'm sure everybody's familiar with him. He does a lot of the Assange graphics. He is going to be working on graphics for McBride. So we're going to try to get like a phone call campaign, all of that good stuff. And then obviously, of course, write to David in prison if you are willing to do that. I'm sure that those letters are very, very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to start with Kendra, and then we can just kind of go around the room. I'm just going to let everybody give a brief introduction of who you are and how you got involved, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff. So Kendra, take it away.
Thanks, Misty. So my name is Kendra Christian, and I founded our group here, Denver Action to Free Assange, shortly after Assange was taken out of the embassy. And we've been at it for 5 years, but I'll let like Misty said, you've heard from me, so I'll let the rest of the group speak. I'm glad everybody's on.
Yeah. Bill, you want to jump in?
Sure. I'm Bill Howe from Denver, and I've been involved with the Assange thing when Kendra started it 5 years ago, more or less. And it's been quite an experience, and I'm so happy we are successful. I apologize. I might have to leave before we're done because I'm in the middle of a family reunion, but I snuck up here. So
I love that. Thanks for joining us. Justin, How about you?
Yeah, I joined up just after Ithaca was shown at our local venue here. And that was only because I did not realize that they had existed prior to that. I'd gotten into Assange in 2012, 2013. And had been writing and doing all kinds of things for a long time before that. So glad to join up and have some support.
Yeah, of course. Okay, let's jump over to Mike. How about you? You might be muted.
Audio. Mike?
You might be muted.
There we go.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. That's all right. We'll go to Alan. We'll come back around. Yep. Go ahead,
Okay.
Alan.
My name is Alan. I'm here in Denver. And it was sort of in the summer of 21 when I realized I had to make a new set of friends. So I began exploring. And there happened to be a rally for Julian Assange in the fall of 21. And I just showed up, didn't know a soul. And it wasn't until 6 months later, really, that I became a little more connected to this group. So that was July of 22. And ever since then, my activity with the group has grown. But I guess I've always asked questions, and I've never liked censorship or authoritarians. And even in 2001, when the towers went down, I knew something was up and did an art piece way back then. But for the most part, being not connected to a lot of media, I didn't take it up until the COVID clown world began.
That's a good hobby. I like that choice. That's a good one. All right, James, how about you?
Yes, thanks. I first got involved from the beginning. I heard that somebody was going to organize for Julian Assange. And one of the things that I like to do is to help support and help make sure somebody shines about that, help them shine. So when I heard Kendra was stepping up to do that. I thought, yeah, I'm going to do what I can to help her succeed in this. And we met in a library and had a nice little gathering there. And from there, it just snowballed. And all the weekly times out there doing things, it was awesome. I remember Julian's story, and from independent media, just so grateful for independent media like yours, Misty, that just shine the light on things. That's we're fighting for our independence, as far as I can see. It's from the corporate state, and Julian was shining the spotlight on that. So I'm just proud to be part of this independent movement.
Yeah, very cool, right? And just for Phil in the comments, yes, he is already free. I guess I should have mentioned this at the top of the show. The purpose of these shows, the Activist for Assange series, is my effort to kind of put some faces to the movement. There's a lot of people around the globe who did a tremendous amount of work in securing his release, who deserve a lot of credit and recognition. And so that was the goal. So the goal was to bring those people on, give them the due credit that they deserve, but then also have kind of a roundtable discussion about the different things that we've done over the years, what worked, what didn't, what can we improve on, that kind of stuff. So that is the goal of these shows. Okay, so Broz, how about you?
So I got into this rather serendipitously because I ran into Mike, who I'd not seen for probably 20 years. And we had worked together on an Allen Ginsberg album back in the day. I was working at a recording studio, and one thing led to another. And so we ended up working together with his band for a good year producing this record. And then we lost touch. And like I said, I ran into him recently a couple of years back. And Mike started doing a little group at a place called Chappelle's, which was reminiscent of something he had also done 20 years ago. And so I started showing up to that. And that's how I met Drew and Marie and some of the other people. And it just kind of flowed into the Julian Assange thing. And so my involvement is fairly recent, but it's been productive in that we've had a chance to do some music and also some video things. And we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, Mike, did you get your microphone working? Yeah, there you are. Go for it.
So it's an honor to be on your show, Misty, I must say. I was looking over my emails there, and it looks like I joined Denver Action to Free Assange around 2021, which it feels like only about a year ago, but it's been over 3 years now, so it went by very quickly. I met Kendra. She was showing a film at the Mercury Cafe, and I got to meet her then and talk to her then, and that's when I joined up.
I love that. She's very persuasive, our Kendra. All right, let's jump down to Drew and Marie.
Hey guys, the Mike Chappelle is really the creditor of the connecting everybody somehow. That's how we sort of roped into it and met with Kendra a few years back. We had spent a stunt in California, and we're both Denver or Colorado natives, if you will. We got back and we're just, seeking more free speech elements in our art and music, and that's what's sort of connecting us all the way to being a part of the Assange movement and making friends with all these beautiful people.
Yeah, I love it's like 6 degrees of Mike Chappelle on here.
It really is.
I love that.
And
okay, no, go ahead, Marie, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, and it's been such a blessing to meet everyone, and thank you for having us on the show. And
yeah, of course,
it's just been awesome, and everybody that's a part of this group is just wonderful. So we're so happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, and that's, I think, my favorite thing. I mean, as we've talked about so many times, the way that the Assange movement grew and is genuinely post-partisan. There are no, like, it's not Democrat or Republican or Green or Libertarian. It's everybody. We've all managed to come together despite whatever other differences we may have. And I think that that's super cool. And just so everybody knows, the Sleepy Josh thingy on the bottom there, that is just a slideshow that's running through some of the events that Denver has done over the years. So keep an eye on that. Kendra did a great job of putting that together, and that'll just give you an idea of the very many things that they've done over the course of the 5 years that they've existed. So in your intros, I'm noticing that a lot of you are artists or things like that. And I know that, Kendra, you were very focused on making sure that that was sort of represented in the work that you did. I know that you did like the poetry read and all of that stuff. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that that's the first, you're the first group that I've had on the show that has done that sort of event and that type of activism and bringing in the art world. And to me, I think that that's such a no-brainer, because I think the art world really leads the way on the free speech issue, generally speaking. So talk a little bit about that and how effective that was.
So I'll talk briefly, but then I'm going to turn that over, and hopefully, Mike, you can fix your mic a little bit, because it's kind of bad, because you're going to be talking the most, you and Marie, on this. I see you can hear me. Our group did a lot of
breaking up,
just kind of general activism, and then when Mike came on, it was super helpful too, just because we had help. Like, Mike knew about sound and different things like that, which is always really helpful. You know, I would go to DC and be like the least competent person technology wise, and come back to Denver. And these guys have all heard me say that. And then I was with our like original group, like I knew the most, which wasn't the best thing for our group. But Mike, like I said, you know, he has a lot of friends in the artist community and already building that community. And so he just had the idea, and it was great. He was like, it was also a time where I was real, you know, because we did all of this. I was working full time the whole time. And Mike's like, I'm going to do it. I'm doing the poetry contest. So he did that, and Marie helped. And it was one of our more awesome events, I think. And it's in there too, a little picture of that. So Mike, I'll turn it over to you. And then just one other thing, we have somebody in the waiting room, Judy.
Yeah.
So I might.
We have a limit, so we can only do 10 at a time, unfortunately. So I don't know. Could 4, 8, 9. Sleepy, could you drop the slideshow just for a little while and bring that person?
It still counts me. Even
Okay.
You know,
we need
I gotta
to.
get to my family reunion. I'll let Judy take my place.
Well, hold on.
Sure?
Wait 1 second. Then let me just real quick, Misty, before
Bill, of course, yeah.
Before we get into the poetry contest, I just want everybody to know that Bill was there at the very first rally. Anytime I was in DC, Bill was there. Anytime, you know, needed. So like Bill was there for pretty much every single event below, and there's no way I could have done this whole thing without him. Always supportive, a really good friend.
Thank you.
So before you go, I wanted to say that, Bill, because that's
you know, let me mention something. One of the highlights, like in my heart for this thing, I wrote a song for Julian, I don't know, 4 years ago or something. And when his father and brother came to our rally in front at the Capitol in Denver, I had the honor of singing the song in person, and Julian's father came and sat right next to me, and then we gave him a CD, and that was
that's special.
Is that the messenger video you sent me, Ken?
Yes,
it is.
I'll be playing that later. So
yeah, we're gonna play that later.
And if people are looking at the slideshow, there's a really good picture in there of Bill and John Shipton. It was a really special. It was a neat, you know. And at the time, we had, you know, things were not looking good. So
yeah. Well, thank you, Bill, for taking the time out of your family reunion to jump on and introduce yourself to everyone. And thank you for all the work that you did over the years. We appreciate that tremendously. So
sorry to bow out.
It's good. It's all right. It was good to meet you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
My family will my family would be in the room bugging me. What are you doing? Why are you hiding in a room? So okay, Sleepy, can we bring who did you say? Judy?
Judy, yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can let her introduce herself briefly before we jump into the poetry thing. Sorry, this is a little bit all over the place, I guess.
There's a lot.
Did she maybe leave? Let's just go ahead and let Mike talk about the art stuff, the poetry stuff, and maybe we can get her to jump back in. Maybe Kendra can shoot her a text or something. So Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit about how the poetry contest and all of that came about, and speak about maybe, did we just lose Mike too? You guys, it is the Murphy's Law.
Come on, Kevin, he's out.
Right? Wait, just for anybody who is not aware, when we say "come on, Kevin," we often joke that obviously we have an NSA agent who's likely monitoring all of our stuff, and we named him Kevin. So that's our Kevin. Maybe Marie. I know Kendra said that you were pretty influential on that. Maybe you could jump in and talk a little bit about the poetry contest and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So Mike, was like, we're going to do this poetry contest for Julian Assange. We'll have like a winner, but we just needed a place to do it. And at the time I was working at the piano store, which has like a recital hall. And I was the event coordinator there. So I was like, we can do it at my work for free. Let's do it. So we just, he got a flyer together. We just promoted, I hit up a bunch of my artist friends, just like texting them, like, come poetry, you can sing a song, whatever, spoken word, whatever art form, instrumental even, just for the cause, and it was such a great turnout. And I even had people call the piano store being like, is this where the Assange poetry thing is? I'm like, whoa, we're getting calls at the store. So it definitely was like wonderful opportunity, and just to see everybody's input on it was so awesome, really moving, just really, everybody just did some really moving material. So it was awesome.
Yeah. And again, I think that's so cool, because I genuinely think that the art world typically leads, at least historically speaking, on the issue of free speech. Maybe not as much now. I think that at least mainstream art is pretty awful. But the indie scene has always been the leading force behind that. So Mike, are you good now? Are you okay? Or do we have another person? Oh, we have a newbie.
We have two mics.
All right.
I just sent an email. Sorry to be late in responding.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Do you want to go ahead and just really quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Michael Thompson, and I've been working with Denver Assange Action for a year and a half or two now at this point. And I was down at, I think you guys are probably just talking about Third Eye Festival. I was down there. I've been going to events and protests and doing postcards with Kendra and Mike and Drew and Marie and Alan and Henry and people. I'm a musician living in Denver. And that's a little bit about me.
This really is like a hardcore artist crew. I love that so much. Okay, Mike, is your microphone okay now? Do you want to try to talk a little bit about the poetry event?
Yeah, I hope so.
Sounds better. Good. That sounds much better.
Yeah, good. Yeah, poetry event was teamwork, really. I mean, we all worked together on that. Actually, I think the original idea was Kendra's. She just said, "What about some kind of poetry thing, and a contest?" And then I just said, "Yeah, let's do that." That struck me. And then Marie was working at the music store, at the piano store, and it's like, "All right, well, let's do it there." And we all had connections throughout the music community here in Denver. And then we just did it. I had been doing something in the 1980s here in Denver, which I think Broz mentioned, I called modestly Chappelle's. And we had poetry, music, performance art, but we didn't have a real solid political connection. We had people come in and speak about different political events, and we had political poets and speaking, but we didn't really have an activist connection to anything. And now we do. And so that's been like, it really kind of grounds everything for me and connects the music and influences the music and vice versa. My music has gotten more political and hopefully more also grounded and feeling and emotional as well, dealing with real life. And, we feel great. We work together to get Julian Assange out, and it's just like such a validating real life thing to have that and to be a part of that. And but all in all, I'd say the music, I wouldn't take credit for the music festival thing. I'm part of that. and so. And I guess we're going to talk a little bit about Pueblo, which to me is kind of a real good nearby validation of what we're doing. So I've thought, if we're doing this here in Denver, there's got to be people in other parts of the country that are doing something very similar and different, but with a lot of overlap. And I hadn't really met other people who were doing that. At the Pueblo thing, there were people there from Florida and Virginia and stuff like that. So it was like a real validation for what we're doing and the hopefulness of we're going to connect and just expand and grow and get stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And typical Assange activists not wanting to take credit. That's all of us, I think. We're always like, no, it wasn't me. It was them. But they did it. It was not us. Yeah, that's pretty typical, I've noticed. And yeah.
Go ahead. That's a good point. That's a good point. Like we all feel like we haven't done enough. Like we haven't done enough. But collectively, we did enough. It took a while, but we did enough collectively. I think we all feel, oh, I could have done, And I don't think we should be overwhelmed by that. I think we're all doing what we can.
I think that's typical. I think especially when it's something that you care about tremendously, I feel like there's always going to be that level of I could be doing more, I should be doing more. But I think that's why it's so important for as many people to get involved as possible, because if everybody's doing a little bit, it adds up really quickly, as we are a testament to. So I wanted to ask, obviously he's free now, and I feel like we're a little bit removed from that. We've got some weeks now of freedom, and I feel like I should bring up the picture that Stella just recently posted. Will it let me pull it up, Sleepy?
Yeah, it should.
Okay. I just didn't know we're not used to all these people. I don't know how that would work. But this is the latest family picture that was just tweeted out by Stella. It's the first one we've seen of him with the boys. But I was just curious how everybody's feeling now that we've had a few weeks to reflect on that, on the fact that he is in fact free. I know for me, it was the first week or so felt a little bit weird. I'm sure that's probably something you guys can relate to. I mean, after having spent this much time working on this and worrying about it every day and talking about it every day, all day, and then suddenly it's over. It was a little strange. It was a little hard to adjust. I just tweeted recently that I was at the gym and I looked down and I still had my free Assange bracelet on. I can't bring myself to take it off. It's still there. I've had it on since September of 2022. So yeah, it's there's a little bit of an adjustment period, but I feel like we have a very unique opportunity that I don't want to see us misuse. That we have created this like global network of activists who support each other, and I feel like we could be tremendously powerful if we continue those relationships and continue working on things together. But what has it been like for everybody since he's been released? I know that for a lot of us, we weren't sure we would ever see this day. So I don't know, Kendra, how did you feel following the release in those first days and weeks?
I mean, it was pretty unbelievable, but honestly, I felt like just a big weight off.
Yeah,
I felt that way. I mean, I thought that the plea agreement was incredible. I really did. I mean, I thought that what he pled guilty to, especially it only being a political precedent, only one there, I mean, I thought that was pretty, I'm not saying it's great for us. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
right.
Political precedent is still crap, but I was impressed with that, I mean, in some ways that because I was one of the people that was like, take a plea, Julian, whatever happens there, by that time, 5 years. And yes, the support was growing exponentially, but it was still nowhere near where it should be. We had such a blackout here in Denver. I mean, look at Justin. It took us a while to find him, and we were doing like the best we could to get our name out there, so it was, so that kind of thing. But yeah, for me, it was just a weight off, but I think all of us here, in different ways are on similar levels of wanting to make a change in the world and in our communities and keep going. So I think now we're just working to figure out how to really do that and do that effectively. So
yeah, and where to focus your energy now. And yeah, the weight being lifted is tremendous. It is tremendous. I cannot overstate. It's 10 out of 10, highly recommended. It's excellent. And yeah, you're right. I mean, the plea agreement was good. I think that the legal precedent was set when the case began, period. So I mean, but we knew that, like, we knew that him getting out of prison didn't mean that the fight was going to stop there. Obviously it continues. It was always going to continue. Even if we got everything we wanted, charges dropped, reparations paid, public apology, all of those things, it still wouldn't be over. So the weight of him not being in prison is awesome. So Michael, why don't you talk a little bit about it? How did you feel following the release? What was that like for you in those first days? Michael?
Oh, you're
Oh,
muted.
you're muted.
Michael Thompson.
Yeah, you're muted. Can I unmute him? Oh, there he goes. You're good. Maybe?
You're talking to Michael Thompson.
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
There we
Maybe
go.
Oh, there you go.
well, and then it muted again.
What is happening? Okay, why don't we
Doing
go
it
to
live.
Alan? We'll go to Alan, and
Okay.
then we can come back to Michael. Oh, he's muted too.
Damn StreamYard.
It's like a
Can you guys
mute
hear me now?
carousel.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can.
Trying to unmute.
You're good. Go ahead.
Come on.
Working on it here. It's
You're good.
frozen.
We can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep.
I
Maybe.
think his connection's kind of choppy.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, it might be your connection. That might be what's going on.
I'm trying to unmute.
You are
My
unmuted.
computer is.
Yeah, your connection's a little shady.
Yeah, the internet in Colorado is not fantastic. I know this for a fact. It's not fantastic.
That's funny.
Can you guys hear me?
All right. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. I don't think he can hear us.
Sorry, it was muting and unmuting and frozen. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. Maybe. Can you hear us?
You might need to reconnect.
Okay, so sorry for the delay there. I think the lesson of this whole thing has been that a group consciousness is obviously. You can hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the lesson of all of this is that a group consciousness is. Yeah, it probably is. Someone else take it. I'll come back and get to it.
Okay. Why don't we go to James?
Sure. The events were so serious and important for me that, like, I know how the state works. I know that they will stop at nothing to try to persecute somebody. So I did not believe that that he was free. I didn't know, like I can't believe that. And I remember early on having thoughts about, like, well, let's do a Sada Shakur type action. Let's just storm the Belmarsh and break him out. That's what I wanted to try to do, as other things. And another kind of tongue-in-cheek thought that I had is, several years ago, all the festivities and celebration for the royal family was happening. There was something going on. And I thought, well, let's just make Julian king of the world, because the world knows the truth, and let's just declare him that. So anyway, I was moved to tears when I heard that he was freed, because that's what we've been working for so long, right? Although I wish it were under circumstances where, we've been talking to so many people to drop the charges, right? To get him down, to right this wrong. I'm elated for Julian.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing, right? It's, for him as a human being, this is a fantastic outcome. For his family, obviously, it's a fantastic outcome. The fact that, as we just saw in that photo, he's able to spend time with his kids, his very young kids, and his kids, frankly, don't have to go to Belmarsh anymore and be, sniffed by dogs and searched and all of that stuff just to visit with their father. That is tremendously heartwarming. So I think that was always going to be best outcome. Again, as Kendra said, the plea deal is good. It's not great for us, but we always knew it didn't matter. We could have gotten everything we wanted, and we would still have to fight. Powerful people don't like their secrets to be exposed. That's just reality. That's just always going to be how it is. So, we're always going to have to fight them on that. So, Drew and Marie, maybe you can speak a little bit about, especially your artist. I think that, on an emotional level, this was probably really exciting and overwhelming for all of us. So what was that like for the both of you?
Yeah, seeing that photo yesterday, it does really sort of spark some more anticipation at this point. It's so surreal. Even a couple of weeks ago when you just heard the words "Assange is free."
Yeah.
So like digesting that has been the whole element to this, but I think a lot of us are sort of eager for the next step. This picture with the family is really uplifting. And, I think there's a lot of anticipation to, hear, a lot of people are on the edge of their seats to hear some statements, just see where he picks up, now that there is taste of freedom for him. And, there, like you said, this whole sort of global movement has built behind it. And I think we're still unified around it. There's a really incredible opportunity here.
And it also makes you feel like, see, when you work hard, you really do get things accomplished.
Yeah.
That was like, obviously it was so surreal. It took a few days. Like, is this real? Do I believe this? Like, cause it's just, you wouldn't think that any governments would ever even let this happen. Yeah. The rabbit holes we all go down. But then I was just like, but that is a collective consciousness. Like, it works. The light really does work, I believe. And it just makes me want to fight even harder.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a huge win, huge for all of us, for humanity. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, it's not time to like rest though. Oh no. Oh, it's time to go even harder.
A little bit of rest was okay. Like, yes. It was okay to take a few days and like celebrate and like just be
happy,
like breathe.
But rejoice. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
like, especially for people
totally fine.
And you that have been in the fight for so long. He's like, you guys need a mini vacation.
I don't even know how to vacation. So vacations make me slightly uncomfortable, to be honest.
I feel you.
So, like, my family gets very annoyed with me because I don't know how to vacation properly. So, I feel like it's those first initial days. I think the reason why the first initial days were so jarring, at least for me, I'm speaking for myself here, is that we found out on Monday, we saw him walk out, get on the plane, but then there was like this very tenuous couple of days where he had to get to the Mariana Islands and he had to sign the plea agreement, and then he had to get to Australia. So it was like, we're kind of holding our breath, waiting to see, like, is this actually happening? So that was a very strange couple of days waiting for that to all play out and really get a feel for what this all was going to be. So, okay, so we're coming up on maybe about 20 minutes left, and I want to talk a lot about the actions that you guys have done over the years, because that's really my big goal here is to talk about.
Let's go to Michael first.
Oh yeah. But I want to talk about some of the things that we did, what was effective, how we think that we were able to reach people the best way, what were your own personal favorite events, things like that. So Michael, for you, what was a couple of your favorite events that you participated in, either just for personal reasons or how effective they were, how good they were at getting the message across to as many people as possible? What do you think?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now? I'm closer to
Yes,
my
that's perfect. Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I think the postcards was maybe it was just a timing thing, because I think behind the scenes, or behind the front of things that I understand, there was more movement by the time our postcard operation really hit the ground. So it could be somewhat of a coincidence. You know, I don't think all of those postcards went immediately in the trash, and I think that maybe it was just, you know, sitting down and writing the director of the Central Intelligence Agency about Julian felt emotionally cathartic or something. But sending off hundreds or thousands of those, or however we did over the times that we did it, and I know there were many groups doing that, I think was a really good show of force. I think everything in this kind of thing is a show of force, and it's like going forward, you know, we've got central bank digital currencies and all this stuff coming down the pipeline at us, and I think we just need to make similar shows of force to show, like, we're not isolated crazy people pontificating into the void about this. We're like a unified group of people who all have our eyes on you, and we're growing in number all the time, and we're making inroads with people who disagree about lots of things but agree about this thing, you know. So but yeah, the event at the Capitol I thought was really good. I think we put together a great video that day.
Yes.
I like personally, my favorite things probably on an emotional level was live group events that had an artistic component to them. I think it brings the human element to things in a very real and tangible way. You realize you're talking about the life of an innocent person who has a family and who has devoted their work to truly the freedom of human thought and human community. But other people did more than I did, and I'd like to hear what they have to say about it too.
Yeah, well, let's go. I mean, we can go around the room here. Let's go up to Justin. And I agree with you. I think that in my experience, the face-to-face interactions with people who are unfamiliar with Julian's case or whatever, those were always the most effective, because I think once people, at least for me, once people were introduced to what was actually happening, it was very easy to turn them into a supporter. Once people actually heard it for themselves, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a bad Michael Bay movie, all of the spying and you know, assassination plots and all of that stuff. And I think once people were like, hold on a minute, really? For journalism, once people heard that, it was very quickly easy to turn them into a supporter. So, Justin, what were some of your favorite events that you guys did? And I think everybody here is probably going to say postcards. So let's give a quick shout out to Halo and Paula for leading the charge on that, because those postcards, I think, were one of the best things that we've ever done. And I did postcards. Shoot, what event was that? Maybe that might have been I don't remember. One of the events I had postcards printed up on there, but that was much smaller scale. I mean, we had like 40, 50 people at that event that all filled out postcards. And seeing the way that Halo and Paula took that and like made it a huge, countrywide effort was so cool. But Justin, what were some of your favorite events that you guys did? What did you think was most effective?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the postcards were huge. I think the repetitive nature of them let them know we're not going away. This is not going away. We are going to be here. We are going to be a thorn in your side. We're going to be doing this over and over and over, however long it takes. You're not getting rid of us. The First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason. And I loved the postcard events because we had a chance for all of us to sit down and have conversation about lots of other things. And it was amazing because these are all people that you're spending time with that are very ethical. And it was wonderful to be surrounded by a group of people that really understood what the consequences of this were and what the long-term consequences are. If we lose the First Amendment, then everything is gone. Whatever your cause is will be shut down. It does not matter what your cause is, it'll be shut down. So that was huge for me. I also had a wonderful opportunity to pop by Florence, Colorado and stand in front of the Supermax and do a little brief thing my wife helped me out with to indicate that we definitely did not want Julian Assange at the Supermax in Florence, Colorado. So
You're in there, Justin, in the slideshow.
That's very cool. No, that's very cool because when we were learning about years ago, when we were first learning about special administrative measures and all of that stuff, and how ADX Florence treats people and things like that. I mean, that was one of the worst. I mean, having to dig through that huge packet of paper, learning about what special administrative measures means and how that's one of those things I wish I could unknow. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. So, James, how about you? What were some of your favorite events? What did you think was most effective? What did you have the best luck with?
There were several. I really appreciated the consistency that Kendra and the group would come out. We would heading on those corners, even though it was a small thing, but it was very important to keep that light shining and the flame burning. So that, all of those little events were held. Also, several other things. I mean, those big signs that we had, those were beautiful signs. I don't know where they made them, but Kendra would bring those and we hold those up in the traffic. I remember waving to all the cars going by, and they would see friendly, happy people, and they're like, whoa, and a lot of honks. So I knew that even though that we weren't having a big turnout, we knew we were making an impact. So that was fun. Also, the press conference that Gabriel and John Shipton had for the Denver area, we had a press conference in the for the news media, and I could tell that was very impactful for them because in their tour of the United States, that like. Why are they Australians championing this cause? It shows the state of the affairs where it's so far gone. So that was one thing. Another one was the Roger Waters concert. Wow, we put together such a nice, an excellent. I think we were inside, we were outside, we were there for the whole time. People knew us, saw us. So it was always in the back of mind. And then you can't deny the Jimmy Dore events. Jimmy Dore came a couple times, and Kendra introduced me to Jimmy Dore that way, and I was just so thankful in doing that. And so we got to meet so many people that way to connect. So it was through those connections. Those are a couple of things, yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Roger Waters and of course Jimmy Dore, who he helped me tremendously through the years, and was always willing to help us. It did not matter what I was asking; the answer was always yes from Jimmy Dore. So shout out to him and Roger Waters. Yeah.
One more thing is the banner. Like I love that banner. I would take that everywhere I could. Put it up. Because that journalism is not a crime. Wow, that's what they're doing. I mean, that to spin it any other way was a travesty.
Yeah, that's a very powerful sentence. I think it's very blunt, to the point, and it gets the message across very quickly. Drew and Marie, what do you guys think? What were some? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But just real quick, since James just finished talking, I just want to say a big deal for Denver was James. And was James reaching out from the very beginning to the KGNU comment line. And through that, and then also through Judy's connection with Dave Ashton, like pretty early on, KGNU radio was reporting honestly on Julian Assange. And I credit like the majority of that to James. Like he made all the connections for me there and was like calling that comment line. And then another big thing too, all of our activism in Boulder started with James. And a whole group formed up in Boulder too. And we invited Mary down here. I don't think she could make it tonight, but we did one of our more successful. We screened again The War on Journalism by Juan Passarelli. Thank you so much, Juan.
Yeah.
And it's it's such a powerful film. And so that was a really, I think, powerful event there too. Because I think that our events also in Denver started to gain that steam as more and more and more people knew. And that was incredibly well attended. And then, David Barsamian and I did a panel afterwards, and Broz and Mike played the Ballad of Julian Assange. So that was a really big event in Boulder. So Boulder was also starting to grow quite a bit too. So, and that started with James up there with signs. We have some of the stuff in on the slideshow. So anyway, go ahead.
I love that. No, that's okay. Those are all great points. And also, obviously, everybody knows I love Juan Passarelli, so a shout out to Juan. He's one of my favorite people on planet Earth. He's actually working on a new film project, I think, which is very exciting because I love Juan Passarelli. So hopefully we'll be able to get him to come on the show once he gets that going. So, okay, everybody's been moving around. Mike, did we go to you yet on this? No?
So, not on this.
Okay,
Not
all
on
right,
this,
go
but,
for it.
So pretty much, hearing everybody talk about all the events that we did, it kind of, it's going over that history is like blowing my mind as to how much we actually did. I didn't feel it that way, but I do remember that. So the only thing that hasn't been mentioned, I think, so far that was the birthday party that we did at the Squirm Gallery for Julian. That was pretty spectacular, and that was really out in the community as well. One thing I'll say is so Broz and I have been working on this video, which we've been putting together a video for the song we did, the Ballad of Julian Assange. And for me, I think the last 3 days have been the most work I've done altogether on this in a condensed way. And putting the video together, going over all the events and going over the story of it, it's, I guess I'd say it really hasn't ended. It's like I feel more committed and more connected now through the work that we're doing, but with a certain strength and validation from what we've already accomplished.
Yeah. I think we just closed the chapter, right? I mean, that's what it feels like to me. I feel like we just closed the chapter on this, and there's certainly more to come. And I think that's a little bittersweet. I think all of us knew that was coming. Like we always knew that the fight was going to continue. But I think some of us are exhausted too, which I think that's why it's good to take a step back if you need to. And even in the thick of it, I mean, there were times I had to take a step back. Paula had to take a step back. You get in it so hard and so deep that it consumes all of you, and it becomes necessary to step away. Otherwise you get burnt out, and then you're not effective to anyone. So I think that's super important. But yeah, I think really just a chapter has closed. So Broz, how about for you? What was some of your favorite stuff that you guys did over the years?
Well, like I said, I've been in it fairly recently, but it's just been to come to a few of the events and support in one way or another. And then the fun of the creative part of doing this, getting the messaging. Because I think the messaging is super important,
Yeah.
Just like you said, the motto is succinct. And
let me interrupt us. The film,
Yes.
the video you made, I forgot to mention that. That was like a big production, a big deal. Very good. So Broz put together this.
Is that the video at the Capitol? Is that, did Broz make that? Okay. All right. Yep. Got it.
I lost my thought. No worries.
Way to go, Mike.
I was up late last night with this thing. I don't know if Mike told you, but we had a crisis on the video where at the very last moment we were going to send it to Kendra, and I published it, and I checked it, and all the audio had drifted out of sync.
Oh no!
And it was like, oh, you're kidding me, man! I was so exhausted. And it was broken, really broken,
No. Yeah, sleepy.
And I woke up with an intuition of how to fix it, and I fixed it in 5 minutes, and it was really,
Yeah, so. I'm a technological infant. I have Sleepy Josh. That's my technological experience. I just call Sleepy Josh. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, so I can't even imagine. It makes me stressed out just thinking about it. So, okay, I think. Kendra, did you talk about some of your favorite stuff? I think you bounced out for a minute, didn't you?
I did. I just wanted to say a couple things. One, I bounced out so that Judy could come in. And I think Jocelyn also tried to come in and she couldn't. And just Judy also, like Bill. And James too was there from our very first protest. Those guys have been doing this from the beginning with Assange and Bill and Judy on the committee, at every meeting, because we wouldn't have been able to do it without an actual committee and people showing up to the meetings and making the planning and doing all that. And they were in there, and Judy was in there. Judy did a lot of our writing. So she did a lot of hard work, and she just hates computers. I asked her to try one more time. And she said, no.
I totally get it, Judy. If she's watching, I totally get it. I'm sorry that we were not able to get you in. It's a limit. StreamYard limits you to 10, which is lame, but unfortunately, that's just the way that it
That's
works.
my fault too, because I just was like, everybody come. I didn't.
No, it's fine. I don't mind. Like
I forgot there was a limit, honestly. So
yeah, I think if we upgrade to like the whatever, this is like a post-production meeting. We do this all the time. We do production meetings in the middle of shows all the time. All the time. Every single episode, we start talking about scheduling or whatever. It's like, nobody cares. Why are we doing this on air? That's just how we are. We're very professional over here at Action for Assange.
we're all feds.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Did you guys talk about the video? I think, Broz, you thought we were talking about the video that you and Mike just sent, but I wanted to mention the video that Broz did at the Capitol. Because
that video is so good.
That's one of the
most good. The drone shots and that's so
good. Is that the do the right thing one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing that one at the end as well.
Awesome. Yeah,
we've got a couple things to play at the end.
Yeah,
right?
I believe Spyderland's one. I have that one.
We should have that, and we should have the Ballad of Julian Assange too, because that's the one that Broz was just talking about.
Let me see if I have
that's the new one. That was the Vimeo one that I sent for permit that you might have needed permission on, but these guys did it, so they can give us permission on it.
I didn't realize we're gonna have the people on that did it. So.
Yeah. But
YouTube's just stupid, and if you play music at all, they'll just yank your stream. Like, it doesn't matter if you have permission; they'll just yank your stream because they're YouTube, and I hate them.
That's why I generally play that stuff at the end.
Yeah,
but that video at the Capitol, we were in a meeting, and Broz is like, "Oh, I have an idea," and he had like a complete idea, which is not all that common. And he had the script, he had it all. He's like, "I just need people there," so we called it. People showed up. Drew took charge of taking like the shots of everyone. Marie took charge of like getting everybody in order for the script. I mean, and we made that happen in just a couple hours. And then, but all of that hard work to make it look like it did, that was Broz 100%. And it's
so good.
That was called lucking out.
No, take your credit. Take your credit, sir. Take credit. Be like, yeah, you're right. That was awesome. Yes. That's what you need to do. I'm a hypocrite because I do this too. Sorry. I also hate taking credit for things. Okay, so we talked to Michael, Drew, and Marie. What did you think was effective? What were some of your favorite events? I'm sure that obviously the poetry contest probably holds a special place in your heart. What else do you think was effective over the years?
I mean, obviously we're big live event people. So, I mean, everything from, the poetry contest to doing the live event at a Day X in front of the Denver Capitol, to the Jimmy Dore shows where you could just the energy of those last couple Jimmy Dore shows at the Oriental Theater were really filled with all the right people.
Yeah.
And the mentalities coming together. That was all really cool. One thing that just popped into my mind, and this one, I don't even know how we landed in this one, but it was like this book signing at the Tattered Cover a couple months ago. And, Mike Chappelle and Judy straight grilled Bennett in the middle of this book interview.
It was awesome.
Just from the audience, and it was a very nice flow of things because Mike came out and asked a question about their sort of opinions on where Assange was at. And, they were trying, divert, sort of squashed his statement. And then they called on Judy right next. And Judy came up and just sort of filled in where he left off. It was just a good interviewee, pressuring technique. And then it ended with, the whole thing didn't end, but the part that we all left was Mike Chappelle finally just broke in the middle of their interview. He's like, "I'm sick of these fucking lies."
AK-47.
He's right. He's right.
It was so intense.
Yeah.
It was like it was heat down there, but it was awesome
It was
to
really
see
good.
them like just explode on them, and just Julie schooled them, and Judy, sorry, schooled them, and like that was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got real uncomfortable with when being.
I love confronting people, and I don't remember who said it earlier, but writing the postcards to the director of the CIA is very therapeutic. I highly recommend standing outside the Department of Justice with a megaphone. Oh, it's so good. It's so good to stand outside the Department of Justice with a megaphone and yell at them. And the FBI building's right across the street. It's like double the pleasure. It's so amazing. It's a good time. That is a good time. Highly recommended. Okay, Alan, how about for you? What were some of your favorite events? What did you think was effective?
I'll echo what Drew said. I really, I'm a live event person, and so especially the protests at the Capitol, and even the one that was the first one that solidified me in the group was in Wash Park in July of 22. I think just calling out to the people as they walk by to kind of make them aware. There's so many people that are just oblivious to these bigger issues because they don't get reported, and I think everything that the group did, like with the book signing, I couldn't attend that. All these things just collectively, there's planting little seeds. And I think that was the most, impactful thing, whether it was, signing postcards in a coffee shop and you had other people around kind of like, what's going on here? So that's it.
Yeah. And somebody said consistency earlier, and I think that that's really key. I think that that's what the Assange movement as a whole was so great at doing and being, because it was a long haul. Like, this was years of work, and nobody really let up. I mean, we didn't really lose anybody. Like I said, people would step out and take a break, step away for a little while and just take a break. I think that's normal, but everybody hung in there. And I think that being consistent, I mean, like the New York Times article that they just released when they called us troublesome. I mean, yes, we are troublesome. And I think that that was a big part of it, is that they realized that we weren't going anywhere. And we were just going to keep being a pain in the ass. And I don't think they liked that very much. Okay, so does anybody, we're coming up at the end of the hour, does anybody else have anything that you think that we missed, or that you would like to have out there, or that you think is important to express? Anything from anybody?
I, of course, have a couple more things.
Of course, yeah, go.
T, if you want to go first, go ahead, Michael Thompson.
You're muted.
Okay. Kendra, you take it. I'll go after you.
Okay. Just a shout out to Halo for those boxes. Our group,
yes,
they were awesome. Our group used those. They were just incredible. That was a lot of work that she put into those. They were beautifully done. I mean, handwritten to our reps. She made it very easy for people to do it. And that was nice. That was a nice event for us too, all to get together and just, be able to do that work, but also not have to do all that. I mean, she put so much work into that. So big shout out to her for that. And then also Paula for all the postcard campaigns. Those were great. I mean, they really were. And I think that started to really push that momentum there. And then for us, to Diana to get, and we did eventually, we did have a meeting with her. We were able to get that. And I think that was a big thing that our group did. And just in case anybody from Denver is watching this, her office was closed on a Tuesday. So that's what you're paying for. I think that helped us to get our meeting. But anyway, they said that very clearly that was, that back end pressure was a lot of what pushed them. So we don't know that even though our reps were giving us canned letters, they were done hearing from us as well. So.
Yeah, I think they were really tired of us, for sure. And and shout out to Kelly Lane too, by the way, who brought up the idea that we should start going after the attorneys involved in the case, because I think that they flew under the radar for a very long time. We focused very much on Merrick Garland and the director of the CIA and, the president and things like that. And Kelly was like, we need to start, going after these attorneys. And I think that was also very effective. They realized, oh, wait a minute, now they're starting to pay attention to us. So it really is such a team effort. It's crazy how everybody like fed off of each other's ideas and bounced things. I mean, I can't tell you the number of things I've bounced off of Kendra, or that she's bounced off of me, or that I've bounced off of Paula, or that we've had a group chat about where we're like trying to brainstorm. And I think that that's amazing. That's my favorite part about all this. So, all right, Michael, what did you have?
Yeah, the only thing that's coming to my mind, I wanted to thank everyone for leading the way on this, and I felt lucky to participate. I'm just thinking on the subject matter of free press and the First Amendment. I feel like the next era of this whole spectacle coming down is control over communication platforms. I mean, we're obviously all using the internet right now to talk about this. So I think that what's crucial, since this whole resistance paradigm is like an equation of solidarity, of attention over an extended period of time, we need to just continue to raise awareness on adjacent issues as quickly as we can, because the timeline on these things is a diminishing one, and we still have a comparatively free internet to work with. Who knows how long that's going to be the case? So we need to spread the word in all of our networks that, they're not done coming for the ways that we communicate with each other. And that's how we create this resistance to the bullshit that happens. So I'm just floating that as my perspective. I'm sure we're all thinking about it. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, again, like I said earlier, we have developed something really special and powerful. And I would hate to see us waste that. And so I really hope that we can continue to maintain these relationships across the globe, maintain the momentum. Even though he's free, it doesn't mean obviously I have a very personal connection to David McBride's case. So, I mean, I'm kind of focusing there, but I mean, there's so many things that we can be focusing on, and we don't all have to focus on the same thing. I think, there's some power in spreading it out a little bit and then just supporting each other however we can. But using what we've built to continue to put pressure where pressure needs to be put, I think is hugely vital. So does anybody else have anything else before we close out? Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to jump in continuing what WikiLeaks has done. For me, that continuation of the transparency of our government and the transparency of things that are occurring needs to be fought for and needs to be pursued and needs to be elevated. So recently, Trevor Aronson has come to my attention, and he has been investigating a whole bunch of FBI operations, including FBI infiltration of Black Lives Matter, Gretchen, with the potential kidnapping plot with her. So I think it's important to continue some of the stuff that WikiLeaks put out there. I am so thankful for Cablegate, the gift that keeps on giving. We see that now today with Israel. We see that with every aspect of our government being handed over to military contractors. So Cablegate was essential. And I do think that it's important that we keep going with that method of information and supporting those people that are pushing for that type of information and supporting them. So that's my piece of it. If we keep going for like people like Leonard Peltier, I know that there's some other aspects to that, but we still have to fight for those political prisoners that are still ongoing after all this time. So, and I really want to thank everybody that has been involved in this whole process. It is so amazing to meet a group of really highly moral people willing to put their time and effort into doing all of this. So,
agreed.
It's not 100%. Over. It's never over.
It's never over. Put on your good running shoes. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, Broz, did you have something?
Very small detail.
Sure, yeah.
When I was sending out the videos this morning, I was really doing it old school. I was sending out the actual video, but I was able today to open up an old expired Vimeo account. So there's a link to the video now.
I already got it, Broz. I already gave it to him.
Cool.
Yeah, so Sleepy can put that, once we wrap, Sleepy can put the link to it in the description so that everybody can find it. And then, of course, we'll link the Denver Twitter page. And also, you guys are on Facebook too, right? I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know.
I'm not either, but
I don't like Facebook. I don't like Twitter either, but what do you
Twitter's
do?
all right. But
Twitter's probably the best of the all awful options, I would say. But they're all awful options. Okay. Anybody else have anything before we wrap up? No.
One final thing. Caitlin Johnstone.
Yes.
Assange is free. Anything is possible. We did this. We all worked together. We did this. Anything is possible.
right on, Justin.
Yeah. That's good
Great point.
words to close on. Shout out to Caitlin, who's been awesome for years on this issue. Her multimedia piece, The Wizard, still makes me cry to this day. I've watched it more times than I care to admit out loud, and it still makes me cry every time. So she's fantastic. She does great work, and I'm very appreciative of her. Okay, Sleepy, do we have...
Some of these videos are a bit long, so I'm just going to link to all of them in the description.
Okay. Do we have any that we're playing as we close out? Because then I'll just exit out, and then we can then you can play them.
Well, I think
it's about 3 of these is about 11 minutes, so I can play it after. But
okay,
everyone will have to drop off and stuff.
Okay.
Probably our I don't know how you guys feel about this, but our house resolution video, that one everybody's like seeing all through Twitter, but definitely I think that our group is really breaking the mold with a lot of these musical pieces. So I think the Ballad of Julian Assange, and then also that incredible music video that Spyderland put together, I see us doing some more stuff like that with the group. So if people,
I love that stuff.
I think you guys should stick around and see it, because I really think that we can break the matrix with some of that stuff. It's, great music, like, gets people going no matter what,
Art, period. It reaches people on a different level, I think, on a really primal level. So I think that's always really effective. So okay, so
it'll be
everybody,
20 minutes of stuff playing. So
I'll probably just exit out of here because I have to go deal with kids. But everybody, please stick around, and thank you to everybody for, first of all, taking the time to come on tonight. I appreciate it. It was really good to be able to meet everybody. Finally, I feel like there's so many people out there that I just have never met, and so that's also selfishly why I'm doing this series, so I can meet people, because I think everybody's awesome. But thank you also for everything that you've done over the years, regardless of whether you just started or you've been at it for years. This was a collective effort. And so I'm really grateful to everybody for all of the work that was put in. And of course, to my Kendra, I love you, my partner in crime. And
love
also,
you, Kendra.
obviously, the founder of Denver. So very important. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I don't have anything scheduled yet. I'm in conversations with multiple different groups. Again, scheduling across time zones is the bane of my existence. I hate it tremendously. But I am in talks with several people. So we're going to get something put together probably within the next week or so for another show. So we don't have anything scheduled yet, but that will be coming.
Look forward
Just
to
keep
some
an eye on
McBride
Twitter.
stuff as well.
And there will be McBride stuff. McBride stuff is coming. Don't you worry. I'm on it. We're working on it. Australia is working on it. We're coming together to work on it. But McBride stuff is coming. It needs to happen. Again, don't forget to start putting pressure on Anthony Albanese, Mark Dreyfus, right to David in prison, and just get ready. Those actions will be coming out pretty soon. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back soon.
Enjoy the tunes, everybody.
Hello?
It's real, and it's so bad.
Monsters Inc., pretty in pink, Mickey Finn, in your drink, Brothers Grimm, under your skin, under your bed, into your head. First you see it, can't believe it, bottle up, button up, try and repress it, Freudian slip, Pavlovian trick, rings a bell, imprint spell, double think, never tell, within the skull, deceivers dwell. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, we don't go back, it's the Emperor's penis.
Some things infinitely living in me from the past. Sculpts my stride, but we don't go back. We don't go back. I don't know if y'all see how similar your science is to the church's reign, like with the Crusades. You nobles lead with violence. What's the idea with all these profiteers trying to tell me what my life is? The thing is, it's too hard to zoom out and notice when in that constant crisis. Is it telling that we find ourselves returning to black and white flicks? Just a minute without exploitation would be a healthier diet. I see good faith tweets fighting hate with hate, and they never justify shit, making people feeling guilty feel guilty for not feeling guilty.
We don't go back. So long. Lived in poisoned waters, can't wash away these scars.
Incredibly obvious, isn't it?
We don't go back. So long. Lived in poisoned waters, can't wash away these scars.
My poor child, what's been done? What's been done to you? My poor child, what's been done? What's been done to you? My poor child, what's been done? What's been done to you? My poor child, what's been done? What's been done to you? Hollywood, Babylon, emperor's clothes, sadism, royals put on naked truth, cold case clues, ritual abuse, true detectives, lies and whispers, child services, jet set predators, unconfirmed reports and rumors, local losers pulling on threads.
We don't go back. In repetition,
Whistleblowers turning up dead,
witnessing
organized tit-tat-tat,
experience.
flesh and blood sacrificial,
How do we
baby consumers robbing the cradle.
see this belief?
Can't believe it, can't believe it.
See this belief?
It's that evil, yes, it's that evil. My poor child, what's been done? What's been done to you? My poor child, what's been done? What's been done to you? My poor child, what's been done? What's been done to you? My poor child, what's been done?
Cause every then and now and then a wave of multiplicity comes from the left and they lynch now to catastrophic energy. We don't go back, seems like some y'all broke your brains along the way. Had to make an effort to sit down and liquor every day. As a product of the 90s, we know all of the disparities. Addiction, mania, and suicide is not a rare disease. It's cool to be a fatalist, rational to take the position that the earth is overpopulated and invaded. Cynical advocating of abortion and depravity. I didn't know the WEF was pushing that mindset. How did you feel when you heard classes global reshaping? It looked like the Georgia gas zones were straight blown up with lasers. I found out later on Robert C. Christian was a pen name. Not to hate me in the fun and the new world agenda. The trends we see today promoting crimes against humanity. If these major modern trends continue, we don't take the centerpiece. Every gender study, there's a silencer on dystrophy. Dysphoria is the culture, you need to address it chemically. We don't go back, if we could, it's still not worth the option. It's toxic now, but living in the past was crazy toxic. You need to address it chemically, spiritually, and with intellect. The trauma exists, but your existence can't be pictured at. It's not a success story if you're still hooked on the pills. It's not empowerment, give the hormones back to the girls. It's a war with their brand, it's another case of SADS. It's a lost sense of self that I call divine will. I believe it's never too late to change. Let not the path of righteousness dissolve so fucking easily. Especially when human slavery is growing crazily. The emperor wears no clothes and goes through the spot religiously. Especially when human slavery is growing crazily. never wears no clothes and goes to the spa religiously.
We can't go back. Go back.
So what are you guys doing here today?
So my name's Kendra, and I'm with Denver Action to Free Assange, and we're here today. We're a small group of activists, and we want to send a clear message to our elected representatives. We believe that they have an indisputable constitutional responsibility to uphold the First Amendment and by extension to free Julian Assange. And we thought we would write our request to them where everybody can see it in chalk on the steps of the Capitol. It's just chalk, it will wash away, be erased by the wind, rain, or snow in a few days. But the video we make here today will not be erased. And we'll do our best to make sure that many, many American citizens and even people around the world who feel as strongly about this issue as we do see it.
Here's the message you guys want to deliver here today.
It's a message to our local and federal representatives. We voted for you. We elected you to be our representatives. We want you to listen to what we're saying. We want you to listen to your own conscience. We want you to do the right thing. We want you to step up.
Since when is it a crime?
To report on secretive, illegal, and immoral criminal acts by the members of our government.
To expose corrupt, treasonous members of government sworn to uphold the Constitution for which it stands.
To count on, rely on, and trust in the principle of freedom of speech in reporting the truth.
To hold you, our representatives, accountable to uphold that principle.
Courageous journalist Julian Assange is not a criminal.
He is a hero acting in the living spirit of our individual sovereign freedom.
We ask you to not be hypocritical, negligent, misinformed, and disingenuous.
We ask you to do the right thing, represent us, we the people, and represent yourselves. Uphold your sworn oath to the United States Constitution.
We know who you are. We're watching, waiting for you to act with integrity.
To step up, to do the right thing.
Free Julian Assange now. Now.
Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange!
Without the sun, lost to my children, I'm the one who told you what the thieves had done while we were sleeping. They gave to the rich, stole from the poor, but I had the key to the listening door, so they locked me away in Ecuador while you were sleeping. A word that was spoken long ago, I whispered on a TV show. Now I fear it's soon my time to go. I hear the silence creeping. How long, how long, how long can I sing my song? How long can I sing my song? Rape a body, rape the land, the reputation of a man. You can hide your head inside the sand, but the water keeps on seeping. Beneath the desert, a flowing song will keep on singing when I am gone. But I've been inside these walls so long I can't even hear you weeping. Just one drop of golden sun is all I ask, for I'm the one who stood for you before the guns and kept on speaking. How long, how long, how long can I sing my song? How long can the song go on? How long, how long, how long can the song go on? As long as we sing. long.
Journalists walking the empty streets of New Baghdad. Broad daylight, cameras, film in the bag. Thumping blades, U.S. chopper approaching. Men look up, not realizing it's the last thing ever they'd be seeing. Gunship circles, back around.
Light them all up.
Opens up a 30mm cannon.
Come on, fire! God damn it, Kyle. Sorry. I hit him, I think. Oh yeah, look at those dead bastards.
Unarmed men, crawling, being shot to hell. Trying to find shelter, maybe hoping for some mercy. That was not to be.
From a distance, you hear the voices on the tape watch as the wounded try to crawl to help.
A van taking kids to school suddenly appears.
But when help arrives...
Come on, let us shoot. You're engaged. 1-8, engaged. Clear. Come on. Oh yeah, look at that, right through the windshield.
U.S. Bradley vehicle deploys, drives over one of the dead or dying journalists, cutting him in half.
This guy just drove over a body. Yeah.
Soldier peers into the van, vomits.
Even from high above, the harsh reality becomes evident as the troops that arrive find 2 children wounded. You see them carry their small bodies and call for help.
Hey, I need to get the brass to drop ramps. I got a wounded girl. We didn't take the rest of mine. Oh, it's their fault for bringing their kids to a battle. That's right.
Chopper keeps filming, but the evidence is buried until 22-year-old Army analyst Chelsea Manning passes it on to Julian Assange.
In this video, I think you see the corruption of pilots and the military by war itself. So you see these young pilots acting like they're playing video games, only the high scores they are getting are with real human lives.
Oh yeah, look at that, right through the windshield.
And to the world of WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, this is the ballad of his persecution.
Facing 175 years in prison.
Julian published the collateral murder video. It's on YouTube. People have seen it far and wide. If you haven't, confirm it with your own eyes.
Julian Assange would likely not see his lawyers until the day of the hearing.
Yes, Julian stood tall against the empire of lies. That's why it was taking him for a ride.
I ask President Obama to do the right thing. The United States must pledge before the world that it will not pursue journalists for shining a light on the secret crimes of the powerful.
Guantanamo, Libya, Palestine, Afghanistan, death squads overthrowing governments, spying on allies and their own citizens. Obama, Trump, Biden.
Party politics in the United States is something that everyone has to get away from. This creation of two polarities by different elites that then suck up all the political energy in the country.
And then there's Vault 7.
The anti-secrecy group says it's obtained thousands of files.
The CIA is equipped with a variety of hacking tools to crack into phones, cars, computers, even smart TVs.
Recently began releasing a massive trove of secret CIA documents exposing how the agency has developed tools to hack into and spy on principal phones, computers, and televisions all over the world.
CIA machinations, a snatch operation, maybe a shootout, a Kennedy-style assassination. They tried to put Julian's head on a spike in the middle of the square to strike fear in journalists who might dare publish truth anywhere.
Torture is being used against
Julian Assange to intimidate the world, to show them, if ever you get the idea to disclose our secrets and to expose our dirty laundry to the world, this is what's going to happen to you.
Lapdogs of Britain grabbed Julian, put him on ice 5 years in the black hole Belmarsh prison, where he sat alone, days on end, awaiting extradition to a show trial in East Virginia's jurisdiction. But by the people's dedicated collective action, we made sure this did not happen.
I feel like Julian's life might be coming to an end. It's been 10 years of breaking someone down, of trying to destroy his life. And it's a well-known pattern, whistleblowers, people who expose the powerful, they destroy them.
It's no exaggeration to say freedom of expression almost died with Julian. To see a truth teller so obviously framed can't help but make one feel ashamed to live in a hypocritical, warmongering wasteland, a sadistic, sociopathic system that's declared war on journalism.
This is not about left or right in politics. We can unite on this. Please tell everybody that you know that they have to side with Assange and fight against the extradition. If they tell you, I would rather fight for the environment or against animal cruelty or gender equality, tell them. They are about to take every right away from you. You will not be able to fight for any other cause. We are talking about the fundamentals here. We must fight against the extradition. We must save Julian Assange!
All the war criminals in their suits and ties are still free, drinking martinis, watching the sunrise. While for having courage, risking his life, Julian was slandered and tortured and almost faded into oblivion.
We can all have particular brands of politics, but I say it's all bankrupt. And the reason it's all bankrupt and all current political theories are bankrupt and particular lines of political thought is because actually we don't know what the hell is going on. And until we know the basic structures of our institutions, until we know that, how can we possibly make a diagnosis? How can we set the direction to go until we know where we are? We don't even have a map of where we are. So our first task is to build up the intellectual heritage that describes where we are. And once we know where we are, then we have a hope of setting course for a different direction.
Today, Julian Assange is free. Those of us who worked tirelessly for his release are both relieved and overjoyed for Julian and his family. However, this relief and joy does not erase the unforgivable wrongs inflicted on Julian by the empire or undo the global harm caused by making him an example of what happens to a journalist who exposes the truths about the world's most powerful government. While he is finally free, we cannot claim that justice has been served. True justice would involve a full, unconditional pardon and substantial compensation from the United States government. True justice would include assurances that Washington could never again use its power to destroy the life of a foreign journalist for honest reporting. True justice would entail the arrest and prosecution of those whose war crimes Julian exposed, those who covered them up, and all who played a part in ruining Julian's life, including the media. Justice will look like Julian receiving a hero's welcome and honors wherever he goes for the rest of his life. For now, let's celebrate his freedom with a heartfelt thank you to the heavens, and let's always remember that united, people can bring about change. However, we still live under a global power structure. Julian is free, but the fight continues. Long live Julian Assange.